So at the recent MDA, we were able to share interim data from our long-term studies. We have conducted 2 long-term follow-up studies. We are talking about the gene therapy modality with an AAV vector, and have done one-time Zolgensma dosing as a gene replacement therapy. And coming out of the very first study, which we started in 2014, I don't know if the audience is aware of that, but we have studied Zolgensma in originally 15 patients. We have been following up those patients now for more than 7.5 years after they received this very first dose of Zolgensma, this very one-time treatment of gene replacement therapy. And it is really reassuring and comforting to see that all the milestones and efficacy we have achieved with this one-time treatment have been sustained, and we see durability of the effect. So that's the longest data set we have. That we have followed 13 patients out of that original 15 patients we have dosed. And then there's a second set of long-term follow-up data which we have presented, and that is coming out of our registrational program, where we have dosed patients who have been presented with symptoms at the beginning when they were dosed, as well as patients who have not yet developed any symptoms and were dosed. They are called pre-symptomatic patients, as well as from our very first phase 1 study, where we looked at a little bit older, later onset SMA patients who have been dosed intrathecally. So it's kind of a mixed set of data, but the most really interesting part of that is that if you look at the overall results of both long-term follow-up studies, we see sustained, durable efficacy after one-time dosing with Zolgensma. And that is irrespective whether the patient is symptomatic at the time of treatment or pre-symptomatic. We have seen in some patients further gains following up many years, and we have also been able to look at the safety profile, which is obviously very important for the individual to understand the benefit risk of being treated with Zolgensma. And we have seen long-term safety results which are really confirming the benefit risk profile to patients. So one follow-up study is just a very small data set from the very first study, the so-called START study, where we have seen at the end of the study that of the patients treated with the therapeutic dose, 2 were able to walk independently, 3 were able to standing up, and 3 were sitting. So that is quite already fabulous results for this kind of disease. Now, in the long-term follow-up study, we have been able to maintain those, to document that patients have maintained those milestones, and there were even additional 3 milestones gained in this very small data set. So if we come to the other long-term follow-up study, which is, as I said, kind of a mixture of patients from a disease perspective, in the sense that some of them are more severely affected if they're symptomatic and they're treated at the beginning, while still showing symptoms, as compared to the ones who are treated without having symptoms yet. And overall, the same picture. We have confirmatory evidence that patients maintain their efficacy. This particular long-term follow-up study was about 4 years in total, with varying degrees when they come in. And we have also seen, particularly with the pre-symptomatic patients, all of them have been doing fantastically as part of the parent study. The follow-up was not as long, but when we are looking at those, some of them just take a little bit longer to really follow the pattern of comparable achievements, comparable to a normally developing patient group, group of children, I should say.